today's video, we're going to be doing a Jellies Award show, my best stuff this year, the best things I covered, the best games I played, the worst games I played, the worst video I made, the worst news I covered, and we're going to be talking about all types of stuff like that. My name is the Techno Jelly. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate it if you do. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. Comment down below what you guys think my best or worst stuff was. Please be honest. I appreciate it if you are. Now let's get straight into the video. Starting off, we're going to be talking about the funniest news that we covered this year. And honestly, call it a cop-out or not, I'm going to say the funniest news was basically all of silksong news. Every time silksong was mentioned or came up, it really did feel like that the whole gaming community on the internet freaked out, and I will miss the days of silksong news, but only because it was funny to watch. I'm glad the game actually came out and, people enjoyed the game, but it does feel like we've lost something almost with the actual release of silksong in this, and unfortunately we won't get any more funny news stories about the silksong community desperately trying to find something out for the game coming out soon, hopefully. And moving on to the best news that I covered this year, I think the best news personally was when I covered the silksong when the game came out, when silksong came out. Even the pirate websites weren't pirating the game. They were encouraging people to buy the game. Like, they're like, hey man, I pirate most games, but you guys should buy silksong, or like you should purchase silksong after you pirate it if you tried it out. It was such an odd thing to see when it comes to the pirating people. That community, is there really a community? I don't know. Like, normally people who pirate games aren't exactly sympathetic to developers, but like they were like, no, you should buy this game. This game is amazing. It's exactly what you want. If you want this style of game, you should buy this game. And I was like, wow, the fact that that was like a thing still amazes me to this day. Honestly, I don't think we'll ever really get another game like that, because even some crazy games, like the biggest games like Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff like that, the pirating community, I guess I'll just call them, we're still very much pirating. So silksong was definitely a special one when it comes to that. Moving on to the worst news, and I think it's pretty easy to pick the worst news because it's basically all of Nintendo's patenting stuff and their lawsuit against Palworld, because that is just a horrible precedent and just a horrible thing to do, and it's still going on. And I think the worst thing about this news is that it is most likely I'm going to be covering it still next year, and potentially maybe even a year after that too. So that means it's going to be potentially a 3-year long thing that I'm going to be covering this. And while I do enjoy covering stuff like this because it's interesting, but like it is a terrible thing for the industry with these patents that Nintendo have been doing. Luckily, it's been going somewhat well for Palworld, so it's not terrible, but overall it's still going pretty poorly overall in terms of what the news actually means. And if they get away with it, hopefully they don't get away with it, because if they do, it's going to really suck. And now we're going to be talking about the worst game studio that I think exists right now. And funny enough, even though I just talked about them, it is not Nintendo. I actually think Ubisoft is actually the worst game studio this year by a pretty large margin, because they have done nothing but cancel games, and they had huge stuff in NFT and crypto stuff. They had so many terrible games launched in that space. Basically every crypto NFT story that I covered or heard about was about Ubisoft at this point, or had Ubisoft involved somehow. And it was just such a downhill year for Ubisoft, in my opinion, because even the games they did release that aren't technically bad just felt underwhelming. Like Assassin's Creed Shadows had a huge controversy and stuff like that, but overall, even if you just ignore that, the game itself is kind of just boring, or it's just the Ubisoft cookie cutter game, and it really feels like they have really fallen from grace for a lot of the years, but it's really hit hard this year because they just didn't do there was no positives for Ubisoft. I feel like they've just done nothing but negative things, and then they topped it all off with all that crypto stuff, and it was just really annoying. It was just I just constantly had to say their name and then say another NFT project was failed or a crypto game was failed. Like, so many bad stories about them that even with the likes of EA's and Nintendo's, when they do terrible things all the time, it felt way worse with Ubisoft, because there was no ups for the other, like the other companies, because like for Nintendo, yeah, they are terrible with the palworld stuff, but at least they had good video games that came out. And EA is always bad, but like overall they weren't as bad as Ubisoft, because it was like constant L takes, and it just really dragged on throughout the whole year, basically. And I'm going to say the best studio is going to be Larian Studios, because one, they finally announced their game, Divinity, and two, they are all honestly just really transparent about what they do and how they work. And even with the most recent story about the AI stuff, they were rarely upfront about it, and they were like, yeah, we did try out some of this stuff in the very early concept art stage, but we didn't think it was really good. We hired more artists because of it, because they didn't think it was good enough. And they're doing AMAs on Reddit because people were like, hey, they're jumping on the bandwagon for the hate, but they're like, no, we want to be fully transparent. And Larian just being Larian, they're just great at being a good studio. The CEO, Sven, is every time there's a big take in the gaming industry, I want to go to Twitter to see if he said anything about it, because he is just truthful and just doesn't beat around the bush. Sometimes I feel like he should lie, because man, some of his takes are, he can't be winning huge friends in the investment side of the video games or shareholders, but luckily he doesn't need to worry about that. But if he ever does, it's going to be a really hard transition period. I feel like I don't think he's ever going to need to worry about that, but hopefully it is going to be a good thing, because I think the transparency of Larian Studios is something that to be copied. Because sure, do they make mistakes sometimes? Of course, but they're always upfront about it, and they do their best to just constantly be transparent and tell the truth, which unfortunately can't be said by some other studios like the ones we were talking about earlier. And now let's get to some negative stuff about me. My worst videos or video this year, and I'm just going to combine a few of them, because basically the videos I did on sports didn't hit really well. I don't think I talked about things very well. I think I kind of missed some things, and overall I thought it was like, even though I enjoy sports, especially basketball now, it isn't something I'm really ready to make video or content on. Maybe in the future when I'm like more comfortable with it, but it definitely wasn't there. And those videos not only didn't perform well in terms of views and you guys watching them, it also didn't feel as good making them, which is why I only did a few of them, and it's also why I'm grouping them together, because it wasn't just one video, it was a few of them that I did, and that I think I could have technically done better if I truly maybe try. I don't know if try is the right word, but maybe put more effort into it. No, I don't know. I don't think I was ready to make videos on sports stuff, which is why I don't. And the top video that I've done this year, I think, is by far the video I did about Nintendo being rejected by the US patent law. I think it was a great video in terms of response, because everyone really loved and watched it and was really interested in seeing it, and as well as just everyone enjoys dunking on Nintendo sometimes. It's nice to dunk on Nintendo, because Nintendo can be so awful in so many ways, and it's just nice to say, okay, Nintendo as a company, they suck, but man, do they make good video games, so it's hard to complain about them sometimes. But I think the response everyone got from that video is really nice, and funny enough, I was expecting some like Nintendo fanboys to find that video, but it really was just mostly people like, yeah, Nintendo sucks. They need to stop doing this. They need to stop doing these patents and stuff like that. And it was just kind of interesting to see that the comment section actually kind of like agreed with each other and me. I mean, to be fair, the comments generally are okay with me most of the time, so that's always nice. But like, it was so strange to see a YouTube comment section about a relatively big topic. I got a decent amount of views, a lot of views for me, but like in the grand scheme of things, decent amount of views, but they kind of like agreed. It was crazy to me, which is why I think it's one of the top videos on my channel this year. But the difference between top and best is different, because the best video I consider is when I reviewed the Minecraft movie, simply because I've never really done movie content and I want to do more movie content in the future, but doing that movie review was so difficult and rewarding, simply because first of all, watching that movie was fun, but also painful. Like, it was kind of painful and cringe, but at the same time, I enjoyed every moment of it, which maybe says something about me. And then when I immediately made the video about it, when I watched it, it really does have me just being passionate about how, man, this movie sucks. But I think it's one of my favorite movies of that year. To be fair, I don't watch a lot of movies, so it's like, I think this movie's great, but man, does it not do very well when you think about it or when you be critical about it. And it kind of made me realize that I can do more videos like that, even though I haven't done it yet. it has made me realize I do kind of want to do that. And it kind of made me want to do more videos that weren't just about the news. Because at the time I was doing mostly just news things. And it made me realize, no, I could be a little more topical, or not topical, I guess is the right word. I could do things about a specific topic. And it kind of made me want to do the video, as I say, style videos more. So it was fun and I really enjoyed it. And now let's talk about some video games, the best ones and the worst ones. The worst one I'm going to say this year for me was FBC Firebreak, the co-op horde shooter that was made by Remedy. I played it for like 30 minutes because I had it available on Game Pass, and it was probably the most boring 30 minutes I've ever played, not including the tutorial. And it was just so boring, and it died off immediately. Even if I wanted to play it right now, I probably wouldn't even be able to find a game. It was so disappointing, and I just couldn't believe how big of a ball that was dropped by Remedy with this game, because it could have been so interesting. But the problem is that the game was a generic horde shooter with nothing interesting. And it, like a co-op Remedy game could be so interesting in my opinion. Like they could have done so many things with this game, but they decided to make it like super generic. And that's my biggest problem with it. Like they could have made interesting characters you play as. All the classes could have interesting dialogue and characters, and the story could have been really intense or weird. Like it's in the Control universe, so it could be super weird. But instead it was generic, nothing really interesting happens, and you're supposed to grind the missions over and over and over again. And I just really wish that it was, instead of like a grindy thing, it was just a co-op game instead of like a horde based play these same levels over and over and over type of game. And it was really disappointing. It was by far the worst game I played this year. And I played a lot of good games this year too. And so I think, not to be, once again, a cop-out, but the best game I played this year was Expeditions, or Claire Obscure's Expeditions 33. It is one of the best RPGs of all time. I feel like it's definitely on the top 10 list, in my opinion, for the RPGs I've played. And definitely one of the better ones that I've played recently. The only ones I can even consider being up there with it is like Baldur's Gate 3, and I can't remember right now, Rogue Trader, the 440k one. So those games were amazing, and Expeditions 33 deserved all the rewards it won overall, and I think it is one of the better games that I've played, and it's just an amazing game. Everyone should go play it if they can. It's on Game Pass. It's not a full price game, I don't even think anyway, so if you can, you should definitely play that game. But that is the Jellies, or the Jellies Award show. I appreciate everyone being here for this 2025. 2026 is going to be I'm going to be doing more stuff. I'm going to be doing more news, doing more types of videos, doing more things as well. I'm glad everyone has been enjoying the content, and the channel's been growing overall the past year, and I really appreciate it, everyone. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If this is the first video you've watched of me, thank you. It's strange that you would watch a video reviewing the things that I've done this year, and it's the first video and you've gone this far. That's very strange, but I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you dislike it. I completely understand. Let me down in the comments what you guys think of all the topics and all the things I've done this year. Whether you like them or dislike them, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. If you'd like to support me directly, please go over to my Patreon at patreon.com/thetechnojelly. You join all of these nice people in the credits, as well as a once a month live stream and a poll that you can vote on it to hang out with me and just, hang out during the stream. If you'd like to follow me on other platforms over Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye, everyone.